Welcome back to another episode of the FPL Sheeple podcast, a podcast that aggregates elite FPL content and delivers to you on a plate. We come to you after a double game week 28, where some of the unsung heroes delivered big and many of the FPL managers hit the triple digits yet again. But it was a case of big points and low gains because a lot of people scored more than 100 points, but at the end of the day the overall gains in terms of the ranks was comparatively low, and hence the title of our episodes, big points and low gains. We are now looking forward to possibly one of the biggest double game weeks, which has been released by FPL, and it's one of the biggest because the top teams have two matches, mainly Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham. So I think it is time for the FPL managers to bulk up on assets from the on these three teams. So it's going to be interesting on how that's going to work out. I am your host Donatello, and after a long time, I am hosting the podcast, and it feels good to be back again. Um, so let's let's jump right into game week 28, and let's look at the template team for game week 28 based on the 20 content creators that we have. So as you can see, it was fairly a consensus in terms of certain players. For example, Salah, Rafinha, Trent, and also the forwards Jimenez and Broja. So 15 content creators had both the forwards in the team. All the content creators had Rafinha and Salah in the team, and it is surprising to see most of them had Rafinha as the captain. So we will see more on that. And Trent was also a common feature in all in 18 teams, and we look at we look at the players here, which both Carling and I have. It looks like I am more template. Uh, no, I think Carling is more template, and I like we both played the wild card, but yeah, I didn't own certain players. For example, I didn't have Saka and James, while he didn't have Coutinho. So yeah, it was kind of a balance that played out eventually in terms of points. But yeah, the template team is really interesting to look because this contains players which are not usually in your team. For example, Broja, Jimenez, Dean, because and we see these players because it was a double game week. So the template team, as we see, has set a lot of expectations for what we are going to see forward, because we are looking at the amount of points that both of us got. Like starting with Carling FIFA, he got 102 points overall. He played his wild card, and he had Reece James as his captain, but unfortunately he only played one match. So he got 36 points, which is a great haul. Not, I mean, it's an excellent haul for a defender, and it seemed to me like James would be a punt, but yeah, it turned out to be an excellent haul. And otherwise, in terms of returns, it was mostly Trent, Saka, and Kane, who helped Carling get those 100 points with those double digit returns. And 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 I see that Carling has big points on his bench. He has Kulusevski with 10, Lacazette with 8, and Deer with 6. So he has 24 points, and Ramsdale too. So 26 points on his bench. So I mean, if he had subbed in someone else, maybe someone like Kilman and played Kulusevski, he definitely would have gotten more points. But yeah, 102 points, another triple digit haul. It's absolutely not bad. And as you can see, he gained 10 points from his return for game week 28. Because his safety score was 92, and he grew 16,000 in rank, which is again not like a big gain. Uh, so even though he got three-digit figures, it's not like an exceptional gain where he grew about like 20 or 30k in rank. So overall, I think it was a decent game week for Carling. Um, he's in the right direction. He's under 100k. His current rank now is 72,000. Sorry, 73,000, which is excellent. So I think he's in the right direction, and I think his current team is really great for the upcoming double game week and blank game week to build upon. So overall, I think it was a decent game week for Carling. Moving to my team, I didn't do really well in terms of points. I mean, I got 91, but I missed out on certain players, and of course, the Salah captaincy hurt. I think I missed out on the 18 points from James. I stuck with Cancelo instead of going for James, and that's where I think I missed out on those 18 points. Otherwise, I would have been above 100 and definitely grew more in rank. So my safety score was 90, so I gained like 1 point from the score, and overall I gained like 5,000 in rank, which is very minor a jump, but I'll take that anyways because my past few game weeks were really bad. So again, for me on the bench, I had 15 and 17 points in total. Cucho Fernandez, I think he got 11 points out of the two games. So yeah, it was. I mean, I was never going to play him in my first team, so it doesn't really matter now. So yeah, I think I missed out on a couple of players, especially James, which is why I didn't get the triple digit haul. And I think yeah, I think my team is in really good shape for double game week 29 because I have Spurs assets and I have Arsenal a couple of I have Arsenal assets as well, and then in those can be built upon for the blank game week 30 where all these teams have matches. So overall, I think it was an okay game week, not that great. At least not a red arrow, a small green arrow, which I'll take. So that was my game week points for 28. Moving on to our winner of game week 28, our content creator Ted Wickman. He appears on the FPL podcast, Fantasy Premier League podcast, and he has his own Twitter handle called TED Talks FPL, and he uh, he got 144 points, which is immense. He played bench boost, so he didn't play his wild card. I think he played his wild card before, but he didn't play any other chips. But he used his bench boost, and the results are amazing. Like he got 144 points straight, shooting him up to 6.5k in rank, I guess. So again, his captaincy choice was something that set him apart. Reece James with 36 points. He also had Coutinho, Saka, Jimenez, Lacazette, and Son, and again, and also the Wolves defense. So, really great returns for him with like a bench boost chip used to his advantage. So, next thing that we usually take a look at is our content creator spreadsheet, in which we summarize. All the content creators teams along with the points, and we also highlight if they used any kind of chips. So as you can see on your screen, this is the game week 28's content creator spreadsheet where you can see a wide range of points and excuse me a wide range of points. So the lowest being 62 and the highest being 144. We'll talk more on that, but the spreadsheet is mainly provided to you, the listener or the viewer, to make the most of, because these content creators are under the rank of 100k, and they are shooting for uh, as high as they can go in terms of rank, and these are the team that we need to emulate in terms of getting there and getting those points, because right now they are just flying like sky high. And some of the content creators in here, for example, FPL Focal and FPL Meet, they're like 626, 704 in rank, which is like insane. Think about. So this spreadsheet generally gives you an idea of the hive mind of all these current content creators and how they think in terms of you know having a certain set of players, and also um, uh, it highlights differential players with certain content creators had in their team, which help them you know get additional extra points to pump up their rank. So we do provide this spreadsheet with the video, so you can click on the link supplied along with the video um, to download this link and make the most of creators are doing, and try to emulate them and gain ranks. That is the whole purpose of supplying this spreadsheet. um so usually we like to discuss the key takeaways from the spreadsheet. So for this week, um my key takeaways were that out of 20, 12 content creators used their chips. Three of them had used wildcards, one of them had used free hit, and eight had used bench boost. Um, this is a very unique observation that I've seen, that more than 50% of content creators have used their chips for a particular game week, and not just like a single similar chip, but three different ones. So it was very interesting to see that. And I also observed that the content creators who have used bench boost are the ones who have gotten more than 100 points, because they had really decent players on their bench, and they made the most of their bench boost fund for getting them across the 100 points line. So yeah, this was quite unique to see that 12 content creators use three different chips, and yeah, one of those unique game weeks. Second takeaway for this game week was the James captaincy punt. um, I personally felt it was quite a risky thing to do before the game week, but I was proven wrong. But again, he got injured in the second uh, match for Chelsea, and that allowed, I feel, some of the content creators to gain more points. Um, Even though they didn't have James captain, most of them had like most of the, like for example, some of the content creators had Salah captain. It allowed using the other players that they have to get close the gap between the ones who had captain Reece James. So I would deem this captaincy punt as semi-success. Although he got 36 points, they could have gotten more. I think they could have gotten more, like 50 odd points from this, if he had played both matches, but it was not the case. Um, and so it allowed some of the FPL managers to gain some ground on the distance created by the James captaincy punt. So yeah, I think that would be a semi-success in my opinion. And then the next thing that usually we look at is the score range. This one was huge. I mean, 82 points difference is something I've never seen. Like the lowest points that we've seen from a content creator is 62, and the highest is 144. So an 82 point difference is huge, and 82 is some. I think some of the content creators might have gotten 82. So yeah, that was very shocking to see as well. But yeah, it was one of those games where you had to have everything, or you have certain players in order to uh, you know get more than average play points. So those who didn't are on the lower side of the range. So yeah. And finally, I like to look at the differentials. This week there were some great differentials, I would say, with Kai Havertz being the outstanding one with 26 points for over 2 game weeks. Brilliant returns. Only a couple of content creators had him in their team. One more name to call out is Ivan Tony, 17 points. He scored a hat trick, a very rare one. I think he scored three penalties. So I think one content creator had him in his team. Ryan Fraser, 15 points, another good return. I think again one content creator had him in his team. Kulusevski with 10 points. So uh, another differential uh, pick that I'm sure that a lot of FPL managers are going to have for the upcoming game week. So those were my key takeaways from this week's spreadsheet and this week's overall, points tally, players comparison. So yeah, uh, as I said, wouldn't be surprised to see some of these players in FPL managers team for the upcoming game weeks. Um, so next we move to 29 creator of the week. As we already saw previously, it's TED Talks FPL, Ted Wickman. He is a regular feature on the official FPL pod, and he has his own Twitter handle, TED Talks FPL, where he posts regularly on his content as well as his strategy for particular game week. His current rank is 6,541, which is insane. As I said, he got 144 points, and that boosted him straight to like 6K. He's been playing for 6 seasons with his best rank being 63. That is an amazing achievement in 2018 2019. He's been in top 10K twice and top 50K once. So I think we have one of the really elite thinking managers in to be featured this game week. So we are excited to have him on the show. Not physically, but like we were excited to listen to what he had to say on the FPL podcast, and also has followed his Twitter feed to look at the suggestions for upcoming game week 29. So I did listen to the podcast, and I was interested in what Ted has had to say about picks for game week 29. So the main players that were discussed were from the three big teams: Arsenal, Liverpool, and Tottenham. For as all three have double game weeks, um, double game weeks, and for relatively easier matches, except with the exception of Arsenal, Liverpool. It's but the players in talk were from all these three teams. So Ted has already suggested a few players which are there on the screen, and for the listener, for the benefits of the listener, I want to call them out. He suggested from Arsenal, Bukayo Saka and Lacazette are the players to have, and I think he also mentioned Martin Odegaard. But Saka and Lacazette are the must-have players from Arsenal, because these are the players that are delivering returns over the consistently for the last few game weeks. From Spurs, Kulusevski was one of the suggestions, and I think he wanted to fit Kulusevski, Doherty, and either Kane or Son, but he's more keen on having Harry Kane in his team, because that Harry Kane has retained his form, and he is a must-have. So um, I think as I'm going to discuss further, he will eventually have Kane in his team over Son. And he also suggested Reguilon being a good pick, because Sessegnon got injured, so it means that Reguilon might be getting more game time. And Doherty has essentially replaced Emerson Royal on the right wing, so these two wing backs can be a great choice. And in terms of Liverpool, Robertson is one of the suggestions by Ted for game week 29, because he's like one of the differential um, players to have for Liverpool, for especially for this double game week. And also Diaz is also, he's a sure shot starter, and he's playing really well. So if you can afford him, either Robertson or Diaz, they will be like really good picks. And also had suggestion for Gordon from Everton, because he is really cheap as of now in terms of FPL points, and Everton have multiple double game weeks coming up in the future. So might as well, if you have cash and if you want to have him in the team before his price rises up, uh, he is a good option to have. So in the middle of your screen, you can see Ted's plan, which he has already executed. So Ted has taken a -8. He has removed James, Son, and Broja for Doherty, Kulusevski, and Kane, which is he has loaded up on Spurs assets because they also have a match in game week 30, and he already has those two Arsenal assets. So he has essentially loaded up on Spurs to make sure the blank game week 30 is, he has specific certain amount of players that he can use. And I think he has gone for triple captain Salah. He is going to use that triple captain chip this game week, so it will be very interesting to see how Salah performs. Because Brighton and Arsenal on paper and with current form, Brighton are not doing that great, but Arsenal are. So I'm not sure how those two matches are going to turn out. Probably it's going to be an easy win versus Brighton, but not so easy with the current form against Arsenal. So, it's for me, honestly, a triple captaincy chip in this game week would not be really obvious because of the fixture difficulty for Liverpool. But yeah, Ted has decided to make use of the the triple captain chip this double game week, and hopefully it turns out well for him. And his team is on the screen. I'm going to read out for the benefit of the listeners. He has Ramsdale in goal, Trent, Saiz, and Doherty as his back three, Salah, Saka, Coutinho, Rafinha, and Kulusevski as his midfield, and then Lacazette and Kane up front. So he has um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players who will be featuring in the double game week. So he has a lot of players, that can deliver the goods for him. So um, yeah, that is Ted's plan, which he has already executed and looking forward to. So moving on to the next section, where I'm going to reveal our teams and the changes that we made, starting with Carling's team. Carling has decided to bench boost, which is interesting. He has decided to not take a hit. He has just swapped out Dyer for Doherty, which is interesting because I thought he would just have swapped James out for Doherty, but I think he was more keen on using his bench boost, so he has decided to skip the transfer. But his team is Ramsdale in goal, Trent, Rudiger, James. I don't know why he's starting. Might have benched him as well, but yeah, since he's used bench boot, doesn't matter. Doherty, back four, Kulusevski, Salah captain, Saka, Rafinha, and Lacazette and Kane up front. Salah captain and Kane vice captain. So that's Carling's team. I think it's really good. I'm not sure why he has used bench boost with one player not playing, but it doesn't really matter because it just takes one match for these players to perform and give you returns. So um, yeah, I think he has seven or excuse me 7 or 8 players uh, which are playing in the double game week. Yeah, 8 players in total. So similar to Ted, he has his mind screwed on to the Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham assets, and he's going to make the most of it. So hopefully the bench boost provides him with those additional points, as we saw earlier that in game week 28, content creators who had used bench boost got more than 100 points. So hoping that Carling can reap the benefits of the bench boost chips. Moving on next to my team, I've decided to take a hit and get two obvious players which were needed in my team. I have swapped out ESR because he was a doubt. I mean, he looked like he was a doubt, but I've heard that he might feature in one of the matches. So I've swapped out Emil Smith Rowe for Saka, and then I've swapped out Cancelo for Doherty. So I have a 4-5-1 formation with Ramsdale in goal, Dean, Trent, Rudiger, and Doherty my back four. Saka, Rafinha, Coutinho, Salah, and Kulusevski my midfield, and then Kane up front alone. And it's pretty similar to Carling's, except I am going with an additional defender at the back instead of a two-pronged forward attack. I also have Salah captain and Kane vice captain, which was a fairly obvious choice for me as well. And looks like my the players on my bench look good, but I was not tempted by the bench boost chip like Carling was. So those are the teams for both of us for game week 29. Both of us have 8 or 7 players who are going to feature in the double game. So it will be interesting to see how the I mean, I am assuming most of the FPL content creators and FPL managers are going to triple up on Spurs. So it will be interesting to see how those Spurs assets provide in terms of return. But they don't have they have a tough match with United away, so you never know how that match goes. Um, can be a completely dud, or like Spurs can be running riot and scoring goals here and there. So it all depends on how those three Spurs asset deliver, and whether they make it up to some of the content creators who have taken hits like me, and also our creator of the week Ted, who has taken a -8 to bring in three Spurs assets. So it's a big deal to invest a lot in players of a specific team. So I think all eyes are on them. So it will be really interesting to see how this game week goes. So that's all from us for this game week. As I said, it's going to be a fun game week, um, and uh, really keen on watching those Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham matches. So yeah, that's all from the FPL Sheeple. Um, Please do subscribe to us. We have this unique format where we bring uh, elite content creators um, content on a plate to you guys, where we aggregate everything and we provide it to you so that it's easier for you to follow, instead of you know uh, choosing which content creator to follow every week. You can just watch our episodes and decide what is your playing style, and then follow that specific type of content creator. So yeah, please do like, share, and subscribe, and good luck, and good luck to all. And we will see you back in game week 30. Bye.